Unless you've been unplugged for the last few weeks, you probably know that Drake and Kendrick Lamar are in the midst of a rap battle, the likes of which haven't been seen in quite some time, maybe ever. Now you add YouTube into the mix, and now we have key indicators of wins and losses based on that data. In this video, we're going to look at the real numbers and see who's really winning this battle, and maybe settle once and for all who's number one out of the big three. Welcome to Video SEO Club. The fact of the matter is that Drake is vastly more popular than Kendrick Lamar globally. So while diehard hip-hop fans are giving Kendrick Lamar the crown easily, the average person putting money in Drake's pockets will probably barely notice the beef. The question remains, how much bigger is Drake than Kendrick Lamar? And I'm not poking fun at stature or anything like that. I'm talking about from a career standpoint. So we're going to study the numbers, and we got an answer for that. So looking at 2023, before the whole beef really kicked off, we see Drake, Kendrick Lamar, and J. Cole, and we're taking a look at this on Google Trends. The blue line represents Drake, the red line represents Kendrick Lamar, and the yellow line represents J. Cole, and this is out of 100. So for 2023, Drake's interest is 51 out of 100 based on Google searches. In that same time period, Kendrick Lamar is a 10 out of 100, J. Cole's a 7 out of 100. And you just see that trajectory here for the whole year of 2023 going into 2024. If we drop that down to just pure YouTube searches, Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole are about even at 13s out of 100, and Drake is actually a little bit higher than he is on Google. He's a 53 out of 100. The peaks in this timeline represent new videos going on YouTube, more likely, because you can see this part right here represents when Drake's latest album came out, so it all makes sense. So basically, if we were going to break down the big three for 2023 based on numbers, Drake is a clear winner, with Kendrick Lamar coming in second, with J. Cole coming in a distant third place. And really, this whole big three talk is what started the entire beef, so it's interesting to see on pure numbers, Drake is the clear winner. Now, that might make some people upset, but we're taking emotions out of it. This is purely numbers, and numbers don't lie. So we're going to leave J. Cole out of this. We're going to focus on Drake and Kendrick Lamar, and we're going to study how this drastic difference in interest translated to actual ticket sales for their 2023 tours. We want to study Los Angeles, and we want to study Toronto. And so first, we're going to take a look at the Big Steppers tour by Kendrick Lamar. And in August of 2023, he had 2 nights in Toronto at the Scotiabank Arena for 2 sellout nights, and Kendrick Lamar was able to bring in $3.1 million off those ticket sales. Now, Drake had 2 sellout nights also, October 6, 2023, which was his album's release date, October 7th, 2023, and his ticket sales totaled $6.6 million. Drake made $3.5 million more than Kendrick Lamar in the same amount of working hours, you could suggest, 2 different nights at the same arena. So it is apples to apples. But you can argue that it's Drake's hometown, so of course he's going to do better. So let's see how they both did at the Crypto Arena in Los Angeles. Now, Kendrick Lamar had 4 nights at the Crypto Arena from September 14th through the 17th, 2023. So they weren't sellouts, but it netted him a total of $7.1 million in total ticket sales. Now, Drake played the same arena, but he did 2 nights. And they were 2 sold-out nights on August 21st, 2023 and August 22nd, 2023. And he netted $7.4 million. So even though Drake only played 2 nights at the same exact arena in Kendrick Lamar's hometown, he still walked away with $300,000 more than Kendrick did in 4 days. So one could argue Drake had a whole lot less work by just doing 2 dates, making the same money basically, and Kendrick Lamar had a lot more overhead. Pulling off 4 consecutive concerts like that back to back had to be a huge cost compared to just 2 nights, and he took home less than Drake did in 2 days. So it's very interesting in his own hometown. So it seems like Spotify is probably the #1 streaming platform for music on the internet. So we're going to use that as an aggregate to break down how many more people are listening to Drake versus Kendrick Lamar. Now, Drake's Spotify streams are about 98 billion total, with 45 million per day. And that represents 481 unique tracks on the platform. Kendrick Lamar is a little bit behind him with 34 billion total plays and about 32 million per day, which represents about 227 tracks, so a little bit under half of what Drake has. And at 0.003 cents per stream, that's big math, that's even worse than the TLC deal, Drake generated 294 million overall, and Kendrick Lamar generated 102 million overall. But there's not a huge difference in between daily streams. So one can say that Kendrick Lamar is kind of creeping up on Drake a little bit, especially in streams on Spotify. Now, if we're just talking about YouTube channels, Kendrick Lamar has 13.6 million subscribers. He's got a total of 6 billion views on his YouTube channel. That's for 25 videos since 2018. And that's versus Drake's 29.7 million subscribers with 17 billion views since 2009, 63 videos. So Drake's obviously been at it for 10 more years than Kendrick Lamar. He's got more time in the limelight and the mainstream, but we're going to see if that even affected their last album. So Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, you can see each track represented here. The total number of listens came up to 184.9 million in the last year. But in only 7 months, Drake's album came in at 175.2 million streams. And you could argue, okay, it's a little bit longer of an album, there's more tracks, but not that many more. And in 7 months, he almost reached the same number Kendrick did in 12 months. So Kendrick Lamar's first video, N95, released a year ago, has 78 million views. And then he had another single called We Cry Together, which he considered a short film. There's an uncensored version and a censored version. They have almost 12 million views collectively. Now, Drake didn't do quite as good on his. Now, his first music video was for Another Late Night featuring Lil Yachty, and that has 5 million views from 6 months ago. And then his second video from that album was First Person Shooter, which started all this beef with J. Cole, and that has 58 million views from 5 months ago. So it does seem like when it comes to actual music videos, Kendrick Lamar has Drake beat. So long term, that might translate into the big three shuffling out a bit and maybe Kendrick Lamar getting to that #1 spot. But the brand of Drake seemingly surpasses rap. But that's an emotional argument that we don't really have data on. It's not being tracked, really. Both of their YouTube channels are exploding. They've been the top trending videos for the last 3 or 4 days, it seems like. And you can see right here under music, we don't see a whole lot of difference. It's either Kendrick Lamar's diss or Drake's diss. Mostly Kendrick Lamar. So if we look at the numbers here on Kendrick Lamar's YouTube channel on Social Blade, you'll see in the last 30 days, he's added 132 million views to his channel right there. And this is what they speculate it translates to in dollars. That's just an estimate. No one really knows. But you see right here, he's growing in subscribers as well. So on the 30th, they say he added 100,000. On the 1st of May, 100,000. 4th of May, 400,000. Live count, they said he's added 300,000 new subscribers today. He's just been firing off diss tracks. The numbers have been pretty good for Drake as well. If we scroll down and take a look at when he first dropped Push-Ups, which was the 19th of April, they don't really have any representation for numbers right there. You see he added 100,000 subscribers on the 27th, which is pretty insignificant compared to Kendrick Lamar's numbers. They're estimating 174 million views in the last month on Drake's YouTube channel. If we actually go to manually break this down, Drake brought in 13 million views the other day with Family Matters, so that's 13 million. If we look at Push-Ups, he's at 8.5 million with that. So that's about 21.5 million with those two songs. You can look at some of these tailor-made freestyles that he had with the AI Tupac and AI Snoop Dogg. Obviously, he didn't release that on his main channel because that'd probably be a copyright thing. But, you know, on the main one here that everyone listened to, he's got 3.9 million views. So he's still under 30 million views for all those new videos that he put out since the beef really started heating up. But now Kendrick Lamar, we can see his 3 diss tracks right here. You got Euphoria, you got Meet the Grams, you got Not Like Us. So those 3 videos alone right there is about 45 million views. And if you include Like That, which is the original diss that he did on Drake, you're about 81 million views in total. So it would seem that Kendrick Lamar is besting Drake. The real question is this going to help Kendrick's career? Really, people want to see what he's going to say next, right? If we compare Drake's YouTube channel with Kendrick Lamar's YouTube channel on subscribers, you see right here, Drake is the red line, Kendrick's the blue line. But you see that big jump that Kendrick has right there, just based on this beef starting up right here when he started releasing the diss tracks. Jumped a whole million subscribers right there in the last month. This is the estimated earnings. Like I said, those are estimations that Social Blade puts out. No one really knows. We're going to look at views. They're pretty far apart. But we saw in the last month, Kendrick's channel's really growing fast with all these diss songs coming out. So while future projections going a few years from now show it's going to take a little bit for Kendrick Lamar to really reach those same levels as Drake on total overall views on the YouTube channel, subscriber growth looks like they might be meeting in the middle in a couple of years, be neck and neck right there. So while it seems like the star of Kendrick Lamar is rising, Drake's star may be plateauing based on these projections unless something changes, especially in this very fluid situation with the beef. I mean, things are changing by the hour. No one really knows what's going to happen next. So it's interesting to watch, but I find it from a marketing perspective real interesting that despite the hip-hop community basically handing over the crown to Kendrick Lamar, it's probably not going to impact Drake's ticket sales. It's not going to impact his merchandise sales. It's not going to impact his streams. Not a whole lot, because a lot of Drake fans aren't necessarily rap fans, because he does cross over into that pop genre. And that's represented in the fact that there's so much more interest in Drake than there is in Kendrick Lamar, just because he has crossed over so much. And that's interesting because Kendrick Lamar has done songs with Maroon 5, Taylor Swift, as Drake pointed out in many of his disses. So there's been an attempt to cross over, but one would say that Kendrick Lamar is a rapper's rapper. Drake has a more poppy side, which has been in Kendrick's disses. So as a fan of rap and an old school fan of rap from all the old beefs that would happen in the 90s and 2000s, it's interesting to watch. And as an SEO professional on the YouTube side, it's really interesting to look at these numbers, because while if you listen to the people in the comments, if you listen to the people that are making commentaries like this video, you would think, man, Kendrick, he's ruining his whole career. But the fact of the matter is, it's probably not going to do a whole lot to Drake's bottom line. I mean, he's been at the top for so long and he's commanded so much. I don't think he's going to lose a lot of sleep. I think Drake is a businessman first and foremost, and people talk about he has ghostwriters and all those things. It goes beyond rap. It's just this whole entertainer persona, like a Madonna, like a Beyonce, like a Michael Jackson, like the Beatles. He's become his own subculture outside of rap, and that's probably hurt his credibility in the eyes of true hip-hop fans, but it's definitely increased his wealth. I mean, you see the house he lives in. He's not too worried about money, it would seem. Another guy who's not too worried about money is Cat Williams. Now, Cat just had a new special come out on Netflix. Before that, he broke YouTube for an entire week. I've never seen anything like it. If you want to learn how Shannon Sharpe broke the internet with his Cat Williams interview and was able to get 50 million views in 10 days, check this video out right here. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time on Video SEO Club.